What's up? It's your boy Carcino here, and let's go through it. Let's talk about the Chicago Bulls, the worst organization in basketball. Well, one of them. I won't be completely biased. And yes, I was born and raised in Chicago. Now, listen. Let's get into this Derrick Rose versus Jimmy Butler beef or relationship or whatever you have you. Now, when Derrick Rose is on top of the world, MVP basketball player, greatest player on the planet, um, Derrick Rose is finna break all the records, Bulls finna win championships, not since Michael Jordan. That's all you heard. Then here comes Jimmy Butler on the team, doing this whole ride, and the whole wave is up. Jimmy Butler sitting on the bench, basically learning, going along, improving, getting a little better. But every year, Jimmy's working on his game. While Derrick is working, but not so much. He works out on his own. He does whatever he does on his own, but his eating habits are bad. He drinks a lot of soda. He does the young boy thing. Drink soda, chips. He's worried about the headphones. He only work out maybe 30, 40 minutes. No personal trainer to get him in shape. He ain't need one. So, anyway, Butler's improving on his game. Next thing you know, there's a major injury to Derrick Rose. He came back early because the Bulls needed him to before the playoffs. Derrick Rose comes back too soon and tears, pushing it, playing better than he's ever played. Bulls up about 20 points. Game 1, torn ACL. Out the entire playoffs. From that point on, he didn't rehab it properly, in most people's opinion. We'll say that because he rehabbed it, it got better, but it was still sore because he only did, once again, it was rumored he wasn't doing the proper things, meeting with the trainers and the coaches the way he was supposed to. They had to go get Derrick to keep calling him, come on, you got to meet with the doctor. And instead of really pursuing it, he wanted to do it on his own and get himself worked in shape and everything else. So, anyway, this is all perceived by the people, the public, and everybody who all of a sudden started to turn on Derrick Rose. He comes back, he gets a knee injury now. Now, he had knee injuries all through college. He's known for tendonitis in his knees. But this guy's giving you everything his little body can do. He's giving the city hope. He gave this city something it's never had. And this is a player that came from Chicago. It wasn't like Eddie Curry, who came out, just ridiculously played in the league and just was a bust. This was an entirely different player altogether. You knew it was something special about him. He came from the core of the city. And for him to end up the way he did was kind of disrespectful to everybody when the Bulls did him the way they did. But we'll get there. Now, while he's doing this, in 2014, it was like the resurgence or the emergence of Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler started playing out of his mind due to the absence of Derrick Rose. It opened up a lane for him to showcase his skill. And Tibbs started running more plays for Butler because Butler was capitalizing on him. Then Butler started to, earn his spot and really, his quickness improved, his everything had improved. He's gotten faster. He's a better defender. He's getting rebounds. He's battling out. Physically, his body is able to keep up with the pace of the game, and he's hitting big shots at the end. And then here comes the nickname, Jimmy Buckets. And now it's about Butler while Rose is out. So when Rose come back, it's like, nah, man, you keep on getting hurt. But Derrick Rose had never built an outside relationship with Jimmy Butler. You know, so they were never friends, but it wasn't like they had a problem. It was only one incident when Butler was trying to suggest where, you know, like, why don't you, you know, hey, you should try this, you know, this eating, you know, change your diet up a little bit and do this, and this could, like, kind of keep you healthy on the court, you know, your condition-wise, you help you get up. And he was like, all right. Then it was rumored, Derrick was like, look, that guy, when he was telling one other player on the team, how many MVPs that guy won? How many all-time first ballot and all NBA teams he's been on? Right, exactly. He had a hot season. Now he think he could tell me, you know, what to do and how to get myself in shape. He got to win. If you win MVP, then you can tell me something. So that was rumored as to what the riff was in that workout room, in that training session, and how Derrick Rose, how he nonchalantly comes in there and works out. It started to leak out to the press, and then that's why the press like, there's a problem with Derrick Rose and Jimmy Butler. Because of that one little incident where he just made a suggestion, like, hey, man, you might want to think about changing your diet, you know, and try to, you know, work out and do this and come up with a schedule to keep your body in shape for the long haul. And Derrick come in with the beats. Got his Sprite soda. His Skittles. You know, like, I'm good. He came in, do his workout, he gone. So Derrick liked to work out on his own, and sometimes he's there, nobody's there. Jimmy Butler has his training coach that he works with all the time. He's always in the gym working out. So he don't be at the Bulls Center all the time, just like Rose don't. Rose work out on his own. A lot of players work out on their own, and sometimes they do. They go to the gym and work out at the facility there. So it is what it is. But on the court, they got along just fine. You know, as far as running the plays, they both trust in one another. And Tibbs loved the fact that Jimmy Butler, he could rely on Jimmy Butler and run the plays through him in the way Jimmy was running the offense. Now, Tibbs and Derrick Rose, they collided. The coaching style of Tibbs and Derrick Rose was not a good marriage. Not at all, because he didn't fit what Tibbs wanted to do. Tibbs wanted more of a point guard, somebody who could distribute and get to the point and just drop it off a lot. He didn't want a scoring point guard. When he got Butler, he wants Butler to capitalize and be the main guy because he's the best defender and / scorer. So he's going to X out that other star player that's on the other side. To my buddy who says Butler is not a star. He's not a star. He's a role player. Well, that role player is Xing out the star on the other end. When he guards LeBron, he basically scores the same amount of points as LeBron, defends LeBron, matches him in rebounds and assists. So that X's at player out. Now it's your guys versus the rest of their guys. You see what I'm saying? So if you can get that kind of production out of Jimmy Butler, who can guard LeBron, he can guard Kyrie Irving, he can guard a lot of people on the court. You know, he can guard about 4 positions out of 5. So you can do a lot with him, and he's got the height to deal with a lot of these players. So the problem came into play when Tibbs left and Hoiberg came in. Hoiberg came in last season. Him and Jimmy Butler don't fit and don't get along. They don't mesh. Hoiberg likes Derrick Rose. He likes his style, but the ownership don't want Derrick Rose or trust him enough to keep him because they know they're going to have to pay him. And this is the Chicago Bulls. Derrick Rose is responsible almost single-handedly for the resurgence of basketball within the NBA and the Chicago Bulls. Ticket sales is at almost as low as it had ever been. When Michael Jordan had left, the ticket sales went like this. And I mean, they were so low at one point. They were like 20-something bucks for a ticket. Derrick Rose came to play, the ticket sales went right back up, even higher than when Michael and them was playing. Ticket sales went back up through the roof. So now, Derrick Rose is nothing? This is a guy who ain't worth to be paying, but this is the Chicago Bulls. They didn't want to pay Michael Jordan. They didn't want to pay Scottie Pippen. They didn't want to pay Phil Jackson. They didn't want to play Dennis Rodman. Y'all won 3 championships in a row, had won 72 games, broke the single season record before Golden State broke it. You guys were considered one of the best teams in the history of basketball, at least top 5. And this is the respect you give them? You wash out the entire team? The coach, the star? There has never been a time where somebody had won 3 world championships in basketball in a row and dismantled the entire team. You lose Hall of Fame Dennis Rodman, Hall of Fame Scottie Pippen, Hall of Fame Michael Jordan, Hall of Fame Phil Jackson, 4 Hall of Famers. You put them out to pasture. Did not want to pay a single one. You had Scottie Pippen under that same 6-year contract that you kept and held him to for all 6 years. When you could have gave Scottie a bonus for going to the playoffs, helping winning these championships, you guys could have given Scottie anything. You didn't want to. You tried to trade Scottie Pippen twice, and Michael Jordan saved him. Scottie was going to be traded right after the 1995 season. If Michael Jordan didn't come back on the team and said, you can't trade BJ and you can't trade Scottie, or I'm not coming back. For this season, he kept BJ Armstrong there and he kept Scottie there. The next year, they got rid of BJ. BJ was gone the very next year. And they kept Scottie. BJ went to Charlotte and he was upset, and it was because of Phil Jackson. So, all I know is this. The Chicago Bulls organization has made a habit of screwing people over. Jimmy Butler, here's what you don't know that you probably should know. Jimmy Butler don't want to play for the Bulls. He don't. He wanted to be traded. He wanted to be out of here. They tried to trade Jimmy Butler. It's just that they wasn't going to get back what they thought they were going to get, because the Bulls don't want Jimmy Butler either. Because Hoiberg don't like Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler don't run the offense the way Hoiberg liked to run it. Hoiberg wanted the ball to move around 50 times and run a fast-paced offense. And then Jimmy's like, we're going to play half court, we're going to slow it down, and I'm not giving the ball to some loser that's going to miss the shot. Hoiberg wants to run this Euro offense and want to be Golden State Warriors. But you don't have the personnel to run that type of offense. So it's not going to mesh well with Jimmy Butler. So when Jimmy gets the ball and he's killing the shot clock. He's running it down. So Hoiberg's like, look, this guy's got to go. But the ownership like, look, we got to get rid of Rose. He's getting ready to have a year. Look, if anybody's interested in Derrick Rose, we're taking it. Can't let him get hot in the middle of next year, and then we can't get rid of him. The city's like, look, Rose is back. No, we got to get rid of him right now, while the city is saying no. So what do? They blame Butler. Like, Butler's like, I can't play if Derrick is here. One of us got to go. No, according to ownership, one of them's got to go by pitting one against the other. They're feeding the story to the Sun-Times. The Sun-Times actually reported it's Butler's fault. Derrick Rose got traded. What publication does that? And then in the Chicago Bulls, their website reporting your best player, Butler, is selfish, don't want to pass the ball. Your own organization's website says that about you. And you think that says, like, we want to support this guy, we want to be around this guy. This is saying, screw that guy. But now it's no, we're going to build around him. We believe in Butler, we believe in the team. Butler don't want to be here. But it's his job. So he's going to give you all he got to the season and to the team with the players they drafted. And he's like, we want to get young. Ain't that what the guy with the crazy haircut said? Y'all GM with his hairline starts like back here. It's all puffed up and stuff. And it's like he got a lot of hair and stuff developing way back here. With that odd head. His name's like Gar or something. Gar Foreman. Hey, you guys. That's what he's looking like. Yeah, we want to get younger and more mobility. That's the goal. So you get a 22-year-old guard who's 22. Most of these people coming in that's young and fast and mobility and all that stuff you're talking about are in their 20s or 21 coming into the league. This guy's coming in at 22. And he's not that mobile. Then you got another guy. What's that? You got the Lopez guy, the Brent Lopez. Y'all called him Brook. I don't think you guys know which one you got. He's not too mobile. He's Joakim Noah -0.2. He's just 6 fouls. That's all he is. He might block a shot or two, but he's really just 6 fouls. Brent Lopez is just a wild man out there, not going to make your team better. Okay, or he wouldn't be a journeyman going from team to team to team. You know, Brook is the one that can play a little bit. He can score. He can run post plays. This guy's just wild. So, that's that. You got Butler, who's not that young, but he's mobile. And then you got a guy who can't even start for the New York Knicks. Where did we go wrong here? Where did we go wrong? Calderon's a great player. I mean, a good player. He'll have some good nights, but he's not going to have a great night. The Knicks' problem is they think they know more than what they do. And their problem was when they got rid of Jeremy Lin, it all went downhill. And they've been trying to get back ever since. They hired all these scrappers, all these no good players, all these bums, these J.R. Smiths. They got in a package deal with Carmelo. They Knicks never wanted J.R. Smith anyway, because they know what he is. And he just happened to wind up on Cleveland. Like, we'll take J.R. So, anyway, that's about all we got on the Chicago Bulls and their scouting report. They're going to finish about 500 this season or less. But if they don't, who cares? They're not going anywhere. The Knicks will finish better than the Chicago Bulls. This year, the Knicks has finally got on a course to get it right because people's jobs on the line. Phil Jackson knows if he don't show this year, he's going to be probably fired, and people are going to say, we got to get rid of Phil. Now, the Bulls organization has always been in a spotlight of making bad decisions. John Paxson as GM is a bad decision. You went from being a guy that's sitting down on the booth, broadcasting the games, to I don't want to do this job no more. Okay, let's make him general manager. John Paxson, you wouldn't make Michael Jordan general manager, but you'll give it to John Paxson? You wouldn't give Michael Jordan, who's called by many in the world the greatest basketball player on the planet, you wouldn't give him any position of power or even part ownership of the Bulls? Magic Johnson had part ownership of the Lakers. And you wouldn't give Michael Jordan part ownership of the Bulls? You wouldn't give him a 2% or 3% something to keep him in a Bulls uniform? That shows you the level of racism that came with the Chicago Bulls and Reinsdorf. And he was like, oh, but for the White Sox, he got Harold Baines a job, he got him a job. Yeah, but he gonna give him no ownership. He ain't gonna get nobody no part. But if they John Paxson, they white boys, oh, come on down the line. Come on down the line, get in the office. B.J. Armstrong was more credible, had more experience than any of them for candidates for the job. B.J. was being the one that was interviewing by himself against these other class. And then they brought in Paxson and said, you know what, we're going to make both of you guys the GM. Yeah. B.J. was like, I do the work and he get the credit. That's all it was. It was like 1 year B.J. was gone. BJ's like, I'm not going to stay for that. Because they want to have the face, John Paxson. And John Paxson, he's doing the best he can. He just is not, he was never a great basketball player. He was a good basketball player, he was solid. He was going to go and compete. At the point guard level, he just was not, he was more of a scoring guard than he was the guy who can make great passes and do all these things. He wasn't too athletic, but he was hard. He was tough. He was durable. I gave him his respect there. But he definitely wasn't somebody who knew the X's and O's, who could coach or had the background to be a general manager. So for him, it was like, you do the work. We're going to train John. John's going to mimic everything you do, BJ, and then John's going to be the general manager. And he saw that, he quit immediately, as anybody would. I wouldn't stick around for something like that. I'm finna train him to be my boss. They tried that at a company I worked at. And I said, whoa, no. If there was a title to be given, they created a title to give to this guy. Not just because he was white. He had never worked. He was packing bags at an airport. Knew nothing about the business that we did. And he was going to come through the door and be our boss. Well, he's an assistant boss. That means he's coming through the door making more money than all of us? Are you crazy? Just because the general manager knew his father and they had business together. And his father said, can you do my son a favor and give him a job? And he made him the boss. I had a problem with that. Because one thing, he ain't going to tell me what to do. Two, he coming through the door. I'm definitely not going to train him to be my boss. That's not going to happen. So if we got to go to human resources, whatever, we can get it done right here. But I know who won't be training him. So they had put him on another shift where they had other white people training. But one thing is, if there was a position to be given, it should have went to me as the assistant or anybody else on our shift. Somebody should have had that position because no one knew the stuff that we did except for us. Why are we going to get this guy, hire him outside to come right here and take our position? For what? What could he do and add to the what? He added nothing. He was a good guy. Don't get me wrong. He was a great guy. We got along. I didn't have any animosity towards him. He's just like, hey, I'm just looking for a job, man, and trying to get on. Hey, I'm like, I ain't got no problems with you whatsoever. I just can't train you to be my boss. That just doesn't make any sense of logic. So, but me and him got along good. We never had a problem. So until something went left, and then, he had to suckle at the power teat, and then I had to check him and correct him. But he doesn't know any other way. That was just the way he was raised. It's like, look, it's the way I was raised. We throw somebody under the bus, you know. I mean, he ain't said it that way, but that's basically how it was. We just throw people under the bus. If the heat is on, we got to get the heat off somewhere, so we sell people out. That's what we do. And then there's water under the bridge, man. We're all good, man. It's over. The situation's over. I'm like, it don't work that way. Normally you do that, you get punched in the face and beat down. See, that's what happens out here. You over here now. But that's for another day. Enough talking about that garbage organization. So all you Bull fans out there, it is not too late. Detroit is very close by. Go to the Pistons. We have a better facility, better than that United Center crap, and we have a better owner who set the standards for basketball today. Everything you see that basketball teams have, they all copied off the Detroit Pistons. There was no private jets. We were the first one to have a private team jet. We were the first one staying in 5-star hotels. It's how you treat your players. It's the respect you give them, they give back to you. You see, the owner there recognized the players are the ones that make it happen. They bring the fans in. So you keep the players happy, they are going to keep you happy. They're going to keep them fans happy. It was a loyalty. It was a bond. That's what a team is supposed to be. That's what teammates is all about. That's what team means. And a lot of people lost track of that. But they mimicked us. First they talked about us, then they mimicked, didn't they? Now you see everybody else got a jet, want to be us. But hey, come on down. Come on. We ain't going to judge you. Take that stuff, bull stuff off. Put on that red, white, and blue. Come to America's team.